My name is Brooke Klinker, and I'm here to talk about the paperless office. What is the paperless office? Reducing the use of paper until it's eliminated. Information, once stored in filing cabinets, are now scanned and filed digitally. Every year, companies go through alarming amounts of paper waste. According to ecology.com, nearly 4 billion trees worldwide get cut down each year to make paper. As corporations, we have a duty to the environment to find an alternative solution. Going paperless does just that. Another benefit to going paperless is a quicker response time. However, even though your speed and response time is quicker, and going paperless is environmentally friendly, many challenges do occur. So what are these challenges? The challenges have been identified as followed: expensive equipment, administrators, not backing up files, training time, power outages, files and documents needed to be printed anyway, files and documents being stored in the wrong locations, and security. Expensive of equipment. Purchasing virtual space or setting up an individual server costs money. Depending on the amount of space needed will depend on the cost. Some online companies offer rent space such as GoDaddy, but fees are assessed depending on how much you need. According to Dell.com, private servers can be purchased, but the cost of a low-end tower server is approximately $400. And given the size of your company, it may be important to have a backup server, so your cost just doubled. There is also additional expense of miscellaneous equipment. Depending on the type of local network, the company may also need to have a network administrator. The network administrator will network all of the computers together if the wireless capabilities are not available, which again is an additional cost. The cost up front may seem steep, but the results are worth it. There is a concern for not backing up files. If a computer server crashes and the files are not backed up, the files will be lost forever. Each employee will need to be responsible for backing up their files, in addition to the manager verifying that the backups routinely happen. Loss of the files can be devastating to any company. A company can appear incompetent, unprofessional, and disorganized. However, on the flip side, corporations can appear to be state-of-the-art, technologically savvy, and prepared. It also reduces the wait time for a piece of information. Everything is at your fingertips, literally. There is a training time. Teaching each employee how to access these new technologies, such as a cloud, can take time. Just like with people errors, there's also errors with devices. Each employee needs to learn how to remedy issues on their personal devices. Apple created iCloud, which is a great tool. Your devices communicate one with another, giving you data regardless of devices and how the item is uploading the content. An example, you can make an adjustment on your calendar from your iPhone and it syncs to your MacBook. So you just go to your MacBook and automatically pull up your calendar. And therefore, the paperback planner becomes pretty antiquated. Power outages can also occur. When a power outage occurs, the employee will not have access to any of the data, therefore causing the employer to pay the employee to sit idle. Depending on the severity of the outage, if a company has local computers and servers, it could be days before a company can access any of the digital files, depending on how long the power outage is occurring. I've seen situations where companies have been rendered helpless for days on end because of outages. Outages can occur for many reasons. However, if a company uses an off-site server and portable devices such as laptops, this obstacle can be easily overcome. Files and documents that are transferred electronically can be printed anyway. In some situations, these items need to be printed. An example would be a contract. If an original signature is required to be on file, a digital copy will not suffice. It is mandatory that the original signature be housed in a local file at your office. It is important for each corporation to know what documents require these original signatures, and proper protocols and procedures should go into place to affirm that these procedures are correctly being followed. Files and documents can accidentally be saved in the wrong location. If this occurs, employee and employers need information such as file name, date, and location. This will help them search for the criteria within that file so they're able to recover it. If this occurs, it can take several hours to recover the missing file. It's also important that the documentation is written down when making this file. Documents are stored generally by their timestamped, and then they have the file names. Countless hours can be spent trying to recover these files, and sometimes they cannot be recovered at all, or maybe even months will pass by before they're even recovered. So please keep in mind that this can also occur with paper copies. There's been incidents where somebody will file a paper in a wrong file, and it will be found months down the road. So the benefit is your computer has a search function, which can definitely speed up the process. Securing your files and your data is very important. If you're renting an off-site server, security devices are already in place. GoDaddy has a special department that goes through to make sure that the security of their clients is not compromised. However, if you're keeping devices on a local server, proper security needs to be put in place. Hackers continually try to breach the security network. For example, Sony, they had a huge security breach. Hackers stole over 600,000 users' information, causing the entire network to shut down for weeks. So if you're housing a local server, you're going to want to assign a securities person to monitor your server, which again is an additional expense. Just as there's many challenges to the paperless office, there's also many benefits. The employee and the employer has the ability to access important documents. They virtually can be anywhere. As long as they have login permissions that have been set up by the administrator, they can go anywhere, anytime, any place. Also, having the paperless office means that less room is required to store things, which can really reduce the amount of rent and overhead. The speed and response time is quicker, and the option of one day even working remotely or telecommuting can be a cost-effective incentive for any company. Not having to have an office space and having your employees be able to work from their homes can save significant amounts of money in a year's span. The challenges of having a paperless office have been laid out for you. The expensive equipment, administrators, not backing up files, training time, power outages, files and documents needed to be printed anyway, files and documents stored in the wrong locations, and security. To some, these challenges can seem overwhelming, but these challenges can be overcome. And having a paperless is not only environmentally friendly, but it can offer unlimited remote access. It may seem like there's several expenses up front, which is probably true, but not having a large overhead and also being able to respond to a client remotely is definitely an advantage. With the speed and response time being quicker, it actually is a more efficient way to conduct business. So in the long run, it's definitely worth it. So the world is in the palm of your hands, environmentally and technologically. I thank you for your time, and I'm glad you've taken interest in going paperless and learning how to overcome the challenges of the paperless office.